So at this point, things are kind of starting to look up for Ywinja. Like she's still in this terrible work camp, but now she has like this new guy that she's hooking up with. They're sneaking off, they're canoodling, they're having fun. And she's secretly at night, like with the oil lamp, like reading this book, Silent Spring by Rachel Carson. So obviously the conditions are still horrible. Like she's having to work in this like horrible, gruesome place, but she at least has this little spark of hope in her life, which is this new love interest, and then also the excitement to like read this book. But things take another horrifying turn when someone from the army discovers the book and confronts her and is basically like, "Where did you get this book?" And she's like, "I don't know. I don't remember." The guy that she's hooking up with is standing right there next to the guy who's accosting her. And she's like kind of giving him the eye contact of like, "I'm not going to sell you out." And he's like super nervous. And I can't really tell if he sold her out, like if he put her book somewhere that it could be found, or if it was just like a horrible happenstance of fate and that she just like, out of love for this guy that she's been dating, basically didn't rat him out. It was kind of a bit confusing, like how they found the book, but maybe they were just going through everyone's stuff. But essentially, they're like, "Well, we know you speak English. This book's in English. We think it's yours. Your dad was this disgraced professor. It's got to be yours. It's got to be yours." And so then she gets sent to this prison. So in the prison, things are obviously horrible. She's in this tiny little cell. It is like freezing outside. She's shivering. Her fire has no coals. She like has no food. And so this warden lady comes in and interrogates her and is basically like, "If you sign this document that we intimidated your mom and all these other people into signing, that basically denounces your father and says he's this horrible man who worked with all these horrible people, and if you take these political re-education classes, then we'll basically get you out of here." And she reads the document and is like, "Absolutely not. Like, this isn't true. Like, I don't care what anyone else said. Like, I'm not signing this." And so then the warden lady is like super cruel and pours water on her, even though she's already shivering, to basically make her like more miserable. And then basically when Ywinja is basically like on the brink of being unalived from these conditions, taken to this mysterious gate at the top of the mountain next to the work camp where she's been working, where there's this big satellite and where it's kind of like an operation for the military. And they're basically like, once you go through those doors, you're never going to come back. And she's like, Let's go. Let's do this." Now, I was a bit confused at this point because I didn't understand because she had just been being interrogated by the woman, was like, "I refuse to sign the document." So I don't know if that was like a test to see like how committed she was to her intellect. And if so, that's what gave them the confidence to be like, "Oh, she's definitely smart enough and stubborn enough to like be in this like super secret government program." Or I didn't realize if this was seen as like the ultimate punishment because you're never going to come out of these gates. And so it's like a step worse than the prison in their eyes. I couldn't really tell. But anyways, she ends up at this government work facility.